So I decided that in order to increase the flexibility of storage, because this is really a travel van to travel to locations as opposed to a live-in full-time van. But I decided to build an additional cabinet between the shower and the upper overhead case, and this cabinet extends longer. Not too sure exactly what I'm going to be using this longer cabinet for. I'm going to be building cabinets along the left side of the van, and I'm going to go through the steps that I do to build these cabinets and how I attach them to the van. To attach the cabinet to the metal structure of the van, I'm going to use a 2x3 and use the holes that are currently in the frame of the van, put rivnuts in the back, and bolt this 2x3 onto the metal structure of the van. You can see this 2x3 is a little bit too long, and I'm going to cut it down to about 2 inches wide on the circular saw. And the first cabinet that I'm going to build is about 42 inches long. So I figured a 42-inch long cabinet is going to fill in a space about here, and that's kind of similar to the other two that I have in the van. I'm thinking about having a longer cabinet in this area here that you can actually hang up clothes on a hanger in a small little cabinet, and then that might be 12 inches wide, and then I'm going to, the 42-inch cabinet will fit in about here, and then at the end I'll have a smaller one because I need to put a speaker, a rear speaker for my stereo system in at the back here. So first thing, I have to cut a 42-inch 2x3 down to about 2 inches, and that's going to be used to bolt the cabinet to the metal structure of the van. So I'm going to use this hole, and this hole in the existing van structure, and I'm going to drill holes through my 2x3 that I've cut down, so it can be bolted onto the metal frame. So I'm going to put my first riv nut in, and this is the riv nut tool, and the riv nut just threads. You open the arms up, the riv nut threads over the end, you insert the riv nut into the hole, and with a great amount of pressure or force, but sometimes I lack. Wow! And that rib nut is in there pretty tight. And a stainless steel bolt threads into the rib nut. And perfect. So that's one. Always like testing to make sure that the bolt does turn into the rib nut. Because once you get them installed, if the threads were pooched on the rib nut, that'd be a real problem. So again, you really need to be stronger than I am to do that easily. I don't think I can squeeze any bigger rib nut with the leverage of this tool. There we go. 3 rib nuts attached to the metal frame, and then now it's just a matter of drilling 3 holes in my board, and that's going to attach this 2x3 onto the frame of the vehicle. So here are my 3 rib nuts attached to the metal structure. I've drilled 3 holes, and I'm going to just bolt So this is how the shelf is going to be held firmly onto the van by these bolts and this 2x3 that was slightly cut down to a 2-inch thick. So now I'll be attaching my shelf that's on the bottom. Well, maybe not, just a little bit off of there. I've just mounted my overhead cabinet on the driver's side of the van. This will be the last cabinet that goes into the van. And this one I made a little bit different than the other two. It's going to have a storage spot above the bed. The bed's going to be not very far off the ground. And the length of the bed is designed such that it really fits the people that are going to be using it, and that's myself and Rosina. And we are certainly under 6 feet tall, and the length of my bed is going to be 6 feet. So I decided that in order to increase the flexibility of storage, because this is really a travel van to travel to locations as opposed to a live-in full-time van. But I decided to build an additional cabinet between the shower and the upper overhead case, and this cabinet extends longer. Not too sure exactly what I'm going to be using this longer cabinet for, but it's certainly tall enough to use as a coat closet that you can hang coats in, or maybe an Instant Pot, or maybe even a coffee maker. Might be my coffee bar. So in the back of this cabinet, I'm going to mount a 110 volt electrical box so that I could plug things in if I decide to use this location for appliances such as an Instant Pot or an air fryer or a coffee maker. So it could be a cabinet, or it could be an appliance. Could be a cabinet to house appliances. Either way, that's what I built into the van. And that's kind of what it looks like. So off in the end here, I got to build a speaker box, and I don't know what else I'll put there, but that will be my rear speaker box location at the back of the van. There, 110 volt electrical box mounted in the back of my cabinet, and a 12 volt DC. That should work pretty good.